Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler review series we do for Luana. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It's a comparison video. I haven't done one of those in a little while, but we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yam around about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside the truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, remember super cool shirts? I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing today? Boom! It's my Red Star shirt. Which, if you're unfamiliar, Red Star is a band. They're out of California, though they have certain roots in the Midwest area, which is, kind of cool for me, being from the Midwest. I saw these guys. They were on tour with a band called A Killer's Confession. I had never heard of them before. Apparently, they'd been around for a few years, but had really kind of started getting, back going after the whole pandemic thing. And yeah, man, I just really enjoyed their set. I love the energy that they put in. I love the fact that they're sort of part of the nu metal revival movement, which, as a big fan of the nu metal subgenre, just puts a big old smile on my face. I like their set so much that I went over there, I chatted with them a little bit, I bought some merchandise, clearly. I even got a couple of videos of said performance. They are on my channel as well. So if you happen to be interested in not only my food reviews, but also my taste in music, I have an entire playlist of just concert videos of just shows I've been going to for years and years. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it a comparison video? Well, I knew that I had to do this. But the main thing that I'm reviewing today is, boom, we've got some spiffy popcorn from Popcorn for the People. This is specifically their Chicago Baked Cheddar flavor. Chicago Baked Cheddar flavor. Chicago. Now, folks, I'm from Illinois, born and bred. I actually lived in Chicago as a child. I'm more of a suburbs guy these days. I is what it is. But I still represent, the Chicago roots a little bit for the little bit that I can. Folks, if you didn't know, popcorn is Illinois' state snack. It's a thing here. We have companies devoted to just popcorn, and we are definitely very proud of our Chicago Cheddar style. So when I saw that Popcorn for the People had this available as an option, of course I was going to have to try it, and I was going to have to put it up against some of our homegrown stuff. Boom! We got popcorn cheese corn from Garrett's, which is pretty much the famous popcorn company in Chicago, and also from, boom! This is from Mix Match Gourmet Cheddar Cheese Popcorn, which isn't from Chicago. They're apparently from Dalton, Illinois. But, Illinois. So, now I did want to go over there and go into Popcorn for the People very quickly. Popcorn for the People, I became aware of them about a year ago. I started seeing some Facebook ads. Really cool thing with Popcorn for the People, they're a non-profit business out of New Jersey that specializes in training and creating opportunities for people who are neurodiverse. And if you're unfamiliar with that, neurodiverse, as they state here, they employ autistic adults, people with other disabilities, people who just might struggle in one way or another in a more conventional work environment. They go over there and try to help with that problem by providing these people, decent wages, proper opportunities for advancement, and, just training that they can go over there and take even to other places, potentially. So I really like the idea behind Popcorn for the People. And it was something I'd wanted to review for a while, but I wanted to give it some time because I wanted to kind of suss out a little bit if they were on the level. And as far as I can tell, they are. And by the way, just so that you're aware, because I wasn't aware of this up until maybe a couple of years ago, when you see some places that proudly promote, hey, we hire people with disabilities, this, that, and the other thing, you really do have to be careful about that stuff. Because a lot of said places, they're not really cool about the whole thing. They don't provide even minimum wage for those people. They, don't provide good work environments, certainly no opportunity for advancement. When it comes to stuff like that, that's why it took so long to get to these, because I was just like, I knew I wanted to wait. But this one, by the way, and one of the things I do like, they personalize it. This bag was labeled, packed, and made by Bruce, who, his favorite flavor is Chicago Baked Cheddar, so we're on the right path, and his job specialty is labeling bags of popcorn. Thank you, Bruce. Let's try out some popcorn. And like I said, man, this is the big one for me. This is the big one. I have reviewed, this is part of my trilogy. This is the end point, okay? This is the big reveal moment. I reviewed their buttered popcorn, and I reviewed their French toast popcorn. So, treat it as a trilogy. Watch them all in one go. All right. Looks like good popcorn. Okay. Let's give it a go. Whoop. I was going to mess it up. I'm going to do one kernel first to get an idea. Okay. Good texture. One of the things that I've liked about all the popcorns I've had from them has been their texture. So this texture is closer to the buttered popcorn texture. The French toast kind of had its own unique texture. It actually had sort of like a little bit of a crispiness to it, which was really cool. With this, more along the lines of the buttered, where it's got a little bit of a firmness to it. It allows you to chew it and enjoy the flavor as you're going through it. But at the same time, it's not chewy. It's not like too firm. But at the same time, it's not like too light or too ethereal. Because sometimes you get popcorn that like there's almost nothing to it. You bite into it and it just dissolves. This doesn't have that. This is pretty much the perfect texture for popcorn that I like. So they're good on the texture part. The flavor part is really where it's going to be a thing with this particular one. Because again, talking Chicago Baked Cheddar. Now it does have good flavor. It does have good flavor. You're getting that nice cheese flavor. And unlike the other two, where the flavor tended to kick in most prominently, sort of in the last maybe like 3/4 of the eating experience, with this, it's got a good flavor, nice punchy flavor right from the beginning. And then when you get to that 3/4 of the way, that's just where you get that little bit extra. But I would say that in terms of just out and out flavor profile, these have the punchiest flavor of the three. Which makes sense. Well, with it being Chicago Baked Cheddar. The only problem I run into with popcorn reviews is that sometimes I'm talking too much, trying to swallow too fast, I end up having to cough a little bit. So I apologize for that. But it's good. I like it. It is respectable Chicago-based cheddar. Now, that said, another thing that I've noticed with popcorn for the people's popcorn, they tend to have good flavor. It tends to be on the lighter side compared to some other popcorns. I definitely feel that that's the case here. Even though it is definitely the punchiest of the three flavors that I've tried, it still feels a little bit lighter than a more standard Chicago-based Chicago cheddar popcorn. And to that end, we're going to try it again and do a comparison. We're going to do mix and match first because I have not heard of mix and match. I went to the grocery store specifically to buy Garrett's because, again, they are like the Chicago popcorn people. But I saw these, figured fuck it. So, let's open it up. Similar smell, but a little bit different. Let's try out mix and match. And one thing I will say, you can tell. So let's say we get one from here and one from here. There you go. So, here we go. Different texture. A little bit firmer than popcorn for the peoples. different type of cheddar flavor. Interesting. It has more of a cheddar kind of flavor. Whereas that, it seems to focus a little bit more on the baked cheddar aspect of it. This one seems to really want to push that specific cheddar flavor. Let's try a handful. Yeah. That's the proper Chicago stuff. Well, I do really like Popcorn for the People's interpretation of it. Again, just the fact that they tend to aim for lighter popcorn, which isn't a bad thing. Just a preference thing. Proper Chicago popcorn is obnoxiously decadent. It fits that Midwest lifestyle, man. We want punchy, terribly unhealthy things. And yeah. So there's definitely, in terms of the punchiness, again, even though this was the punchiest, there's no comparison. The proper Illinois stuff, yeah, definitely is just, it's on another flavor level when it comes to that punchiness. But again, now let's try the Garrett's. This is really the biggest contender, so I haven't had Garrett's in a long time. Again, different smell profile, but similar. Let's try one by itself. It's almost like a in-between between the two. Whereas the mix and match, it really is pushing that heavy cheddar flavor. And then the Popcorn for the People, it's kind of, again, going a little bit more of that baked cheddar. It's a little bit lighter in the flavor. This one is kind of somewhere in between. Doesn't seem to have quite as much cheddar flavor as the mix and match, but does have more of that. The texture is closer to the Popcorn for the People, though, than the mix and match, which, again, it has a little bit firmer, a little bit chewier. Let's go a proper handful of Garrett's. Yeah. I think Garrett's, I think, is the most well-balanced out of the three. Mix and match is definitely the punchiest flavor. Popcorn for the People, a little bit lighter. Garrett's is somewhere dead in the middle. But they also have a little extra. Whereas with the mix and match, you get like this really heavy sort of cheddar hit at the end. With the Garrett's, you get this sort of like almost like salty, cheesy kind of flavor. So it changes things up a little bit. It's interesting that, 3 cheese popcorns, but like they all kind of do their own thing. Which is my personal favorite? You know what? I mean, it depends on what I'm looking for. Ultimately, I think the Popcorn for the People is a very good popcorn. And 2 questions have to be asked in regards to it, because this video is running a little bit long. Number 1, would I get it again? Number 2, would I go over there and recommend it? I think that I would get it again occasionally. Out of the 3 flavors that I've had for a Popcorn for the People, I do like this one. But I think that the Chicago Baked Cheddar flavor is the least well suited to what they're doing with their popcorn, because they're making very quality popcorn, and Chicago Baked Cheddar is a great popcorn flavor, but it is the one that needs to be the most decadent. And I think that they kind of were aiming for that a little bit. Again, I think it's the punchiest in terms of the flavor, but when you compare it against the actual stuff, it definitely just, when you have that 1-to-1, there's no denying that, yeah, it does feel a little bit lacking comparatively. But it's not entirely a bad thing. Lighter popcorn is not always a bad thing. Like, here's the thing. If I'm talking straight up flavor, which one is my winner? I'm going to go with the mix and match, because this is like the Chicago cheddar that I know and love. It's decadent. It's stupid. You should not eat all of it in one go, but you will, and you will proudly proclaim that you did. and then you will die moments later because it is just decadent and super cheesy, and it's really, really good. But whereas comparatively, the Garrett's is a nice middle. It's a very quality popcorn. It's super tasty. The cheese is really nice. It works. You know, there's no bad time for Garrett's. Whereas again, with the mix and match, this is when you want that decadent treat. That's when you're setting time out of your day. Garrett's, I think, with the popcorn for the people, I do think it's a good cheddar popcorn. Again, it doesn't quite fulfill the Midwest style, but again, and I've mentioned this with the previous two flavors, it's a nice casual popcorn. It's very well made, 100%, and it works well if you don't want a heavier popcorn. Because as much as, yeah, I love this stuff, it's what the fuck I grew up with. Not everybody is going to be like that. And even for myself, I don't always want that. Sometimes I am just going to want something that's a little bit lighter that I can just eat more casually. This perfectly fills that role. So, all that said, with popcorn for the people, I mean, again, my personal favorite is the mix match. I personally think that the Garrett's is probably the most universal. And I think that the popcorn for the people, I think that it's very good. I think it's very well made. I think it has a very specific place. But it is still very good. And thank you to Bruce. You did a very fine job. But anyway, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your folks. You can go over there and have yourselves a truly cheddar popcorn-tastic rest of your life. Because cheddar popcorn is, it's pretty much the best popcorn. I have personally never had popcorn that I've liked more than cheddar popcorn. Just saying. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity in the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me, I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. It can be frustrating and stressful and just pretty much impossible to have a positive attitude about things sometimes. But when we do run into those circumstances in our lives, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, maybe you have some sort of regional popcorn flavor that's your whole thing, right? I mean, Illinois can't be the only ones. And if that's the case, hey, hit me up in the comments. Go over there and just be like, hey, you got to try popcorn from Chattanooga. They go over there and they flavor it with raspberries and catfish. I mean, that doesn't sound like it would be good, but like, I don't know. I'll try raspberry catfish popcorn. It's what I do for the show. Now I'm intrigued. Oh no. But even more so than that, if there's like any products along the lines of popcorn for the people that are, you know, have like a really solid mission statement, trying to bring some, you know, real positivity into the world, please let me know about those. If they are things that you think that I could go over there and review, I would love to do that because I want to be able to go over there in my own way and help promote positivity and hopefully go over there and promote positive people and positive institutions. And if I can go over there and eat some really nice popcorn on top of it, I mean, you know, I'm just saying. Bye.